Men hate disrespect more than they love sex. Eh? And this is a deep psychological truth that is rooted in the core needs of masculine identity, especially in patriarchal and performance-driven societies. For many men, respect is not just preference. It is their emotional currency. It is a foundation upon which their self-worth, their security, and even their sense of purpose is built. There's basically an identity link between masculinity and respect. And this is because from early socialization, men are conditioned to equate respect with value. A respected man is seen as competent, as powerful, and even worthy. A disrespected man is seen as weak, disposable, or even emasculated. And because of this, many men subconsciously tie their entire identity to being respected, either by their peers, their partners, their communities, and even themselves. That's why disrespect doesn't just hurt, it wounds. It penetrates their ego, it penetrates their pride and their sense of self. And here's why sex comes second. Yes, sex is very important. Don't get me wrong. Sex is very important to men. For pleasure, for connection, for validation, and even for stress release, especially for stress release. But for many men, the emotional context around sex matters even more than the act itself. If sex is paired with mockery or even control or even criticism or emotional withdrawal, the desire for it can quickly dissolve. To a man who values himself, sex without respect feels hollow. It's even humiliating. And this is why a man will walk away from sex if he feels emasculated. He will lose interest in intimacy if he's constantly belittled. He may even cheat, not because of lust, but to reclaim his masculine worth, where he feels it is being acknowledged. It is not just about sex, it is about dignity. And disrespect cuts deeper than rejection. A man can handle rejection more than he can handle disrespect. Rejection might feel disappointing, but disrespect, that shit feels degrading. And there's a difference between I am not interested, that is rejection, and you are nothing special, I could do better, that is disrespect. One wounds the situation and the other wounds the man. Disrespect undermines safety, man. Like all humans crave emotional safety. But for most men, emotional safety looks like being respected in their vulnerability, not mocked or even minimized. Disrespect can show up subtly as constant correction or even sarcasm, public shaming or even belittling, passive-aggressive tones or even eye rolls, dismissing their input or even effort. And over time, that disrespect doesn't just damage the relationship, it deteriorates the man's emotional capacity within it. Men value sex. Let's not get that wrong. Men value sex, but they need respect. Because to a man, respect is love in action. When a man feels respected, he feels safe enough to love. He feels safe enough to lead, He feels safe enough to connect and even to build. But when he feels disrespected, everything, and I mean everything, including his libido, shuts down. So if you want to truly understand what keeps a man grounded and loyal, it is not sex, it is respect. Without it, even the deepest love will feel like betrayal. My people, heal. Heal.